Welcome to Cotton Bowl. Stanford battles North Carolina for a first-round playoff game. Groff with the kick. The kick from Groff is returned 23 yards by Sternwies. Brenner with the tackle. Single wing formation. Severin split out wide. Shotgun formation. The hand off to Kranek. Kranek the ball carrier, no gain. Stojakovic on the tackle. 2nd and 10 from the 41. Single wing formation. Lalande sets up in the pocket. Lalande will run. 7-yard run by Lalande. Zager on the stop. Third and 3. Single wing formation. Radman takes the handoff. Radman with a gain of 5 on the play. Stojakovic on the tackle. First down. Single wing formation. Severin split wide. The hand off to Cernugel. Cernugel on the carry, no gain. Coll on the tackle. 2nd and 10 at the 47. Single wing formation. Lalande barks out the signals. Pitch left to Watson. 11-yard gain by Watson. Coleman on the stop. First down. Single wing formation. Severin split outside. Radman running. Lalande on the carry, no gain. Stojakovic on the stop. 2nd and 10. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Lalande on the carry, gain of 7, Willard with the tackle. 3rd and 3. Single wing formation. Lalande fades back to pass. Short sideline pass to Palmer. Incomplete. Lalande to Palmer, incomplete. Fay on the coverage. Fourth and 3 from the 29. Single wing formation. Lalande drops back to pass. Short hitch to Watson. Incomplete. Lalande passes to Watson, incomplete. Lebredower on the coverage. Single wing formation. Lebredower from the shotgun. Lebredower calls the signals. Paulman with the handoff. Paulman the ball carrier, no gain. Woodson on the stop. Single wing formation. Lebredower calling signals. The snap is fumbled. Fumble. Lebredower on the carry, loss of 4, fumble recovered by Lebredower. Stanford maintains possession. 3rd and 14 from the 25. Single wing formation. Hand off to Lebredower. Lebredower dumps it to Galerno, incomplete. Lebredower to Galerno, incomplete. Woodson on the coverage. Groff back in punt formation. – 39-yard punt by Groff, 8-yard return by Lalande. First and 10 from the 44. Single wing formation. Lalande in the shotgun. Hand off to Lalande. He throws to Radman. Complete. Laland passes to Radman, gain of 11, Donoghue with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Severin split outside. Laland at the line. Radman running. Laland with the carry, no gain, Willard with the tackle. Second and 10 from the 45. Single wing formation. Laland fades back to pass. Medium hitch to Palmer. Complete. Laland completes the pass to Palmer, 23-yard gain, Fay on the tackle, first down. First and 10. Single wing formation. Radman gives to Watson. Watson on the carry, 1-yard gain, Stojakovic with the tackle. Single wing formation. Laland fades back to pass. Medium out. Incomplete. Laland throws incomplete to Palmer, Fay on the coverage. Third and 9 at the 21. Single wing formation. Laland drops back to pass. Medium curl to Kranick. He's got it. Laland to Kranick, touchdown North Carolina. Moronic will try the point after. The kick by Moronic is good, North Carolina 7, Stanford 0. Moronic to kick off. The kick from Moronic is returned 28 yards by Fay, Cernugal on the tackle. Single wing formation. From the shotgun. Lebredower at the line. Hand off to Fay. Fay on the carry, gain of 7, Mallory on the tackle. Second and 3 at the 49. Single wing formation. Hallman tucks it under. Lebredower gains 10 on the sweep, Palmer on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Lebredower calling signals. The hand off to Galerno. 3-yard gain by Galerno, Moronic on the stop. Single wing formation. Lebredower calls out the signals. Lebredower fades back to pass. Lebredower is running with it. Lebredower on the carry, gain of 1, Severin with the tackle. Third and 6 from the 37. Single wing formation. Fumbled snap. Fumble. Lebredower lost 5 on the play, fumble recovered by Lebredower, Stanford maintains possession, Groff will punt it away. Laland waiting inside his own 10. .33-yard punt by Groff, no return. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Bad snap. Fumble. Laland lost 8 on the play, fumble recovered by Whitson, North Carolina maintains possession. Single wing formation. Laland fades back to pass. Laland checks down to Kranick, complete. Laland completes the pass to Kranick, gain of 6, Calvely on the stop. Third and 12 from the 7. Single wing formation. Laland calling the signals. Sets to throw. Laland dumps it to Kranick, complete. Laland completes the pass to Kranick, gain of 18, Calvely with the tackle, first down. Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 53, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
First and 15. Single wing formation. Laland fades back to pass. Laland will run. Laland with a gain of 6 on the play, Zagger on the tackle. Single wing formation. Radman with the give to Watson. Watson on the carry, gain of 1, Donahue on the tackle. Third and 8 at the 27. Single wing formation. Severin split out wide. Radman on the draw. Radman on the draw, no gain, Willard on the tackle. Winborn to punt. "39-yard punt by Winborn, return of 8 by Lebredower. First and 10. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Lebredower calls the signals. Bootleg. Lebredower with the carry, gain of 4, Kimball on the tackle. Second and 6. Single wing formation. Hallman behind center. Hallman on the draw. Hallman on the draw, gain of 6, Klein on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Give to Lebredower. He dumps it to Galerno, complete. Lebredower passes to Galerno, gain of 18, Sternwies on the tackle, first down. First and 10. Single wing formation. Paulman gives to Paulman. 1-yard run by Paulman, Severin on the stop. Single wing formation. Quick toss to Fay. Fay on the carry, no gain, Kimball with the tackle. Third and 9. Single wing formation. Lebredower fades back to pass. Lebredower tucks it under. Big hole. Lebredower on the carry, gain of 20, Lalan on the tackle, first down. First and goal. Single wing formation. Paulman behind center. Paulman tucks it under. Paulman with the carry, no gain, Moronic on the tackle. Single wing formation. Paulman behind center. Paulman on the draw. Paulman gains 3 on the draw, Lalan on the tackle. Third and goal from the 6. Single wing formation. Lebredower fades back to pass. Medium sideline pass to Stojakovic. Lebredower throws incomplete to Stojakovic. 23-yard attempt for Groff. Groff to hold. Calvely with the snap. Groff missed from 23. Single wing formation. Lalan in the shotgun. Hand off to Lalan. He throws to Palmer. Incomplete. Lalan throws incomplete to Palmer, Hallman on the coverage. Second and 10 at the 20. Single wing formation. Lalan fades back to pass. Medium into Palmer. He's got it. Lalan to Palmer, 23-yard gain, Faye on the stop, first down, end of the first quarter, North Carolina 7, Stanford 0, single wing formation. Severin out wide. Radman hands to Watson. Watson with a 1-yard run, Zager on the tackle. Single wing formation. Laland fades back to pass. Laland is off and running. 7-yard gain by Laland, Coleman on the tackle. Third and 2 from the 49. Single wing formation. Laland drops back to pass. Pass to Watson. Incomplete. Laland passes to Watson, incomplete. North Carolina by 7. 4th and 2 from the 49. Single wing formation. Severin split wide. Laland barks out the signals. Laland is back to pass. Laland will have to run. Laland with a gain of 5 on the play, Stojkovic on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Laland calls the signals. Radman hands to Watson. 1-yard run by Watson, Coll on the tackle. Second and 9 from the 43. Single wing formation. Radman hands to Kranick. Kranick with a 9-yard run, Coleman on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Radman tucks it under. 5-yard gain by Laland, Willard with the tackle. Single wing formation. Radman behind center. Current drive, 9 plays, 51 yards. 3:02 off the clock. Medium hitch to Kranick. Complete. Radman completes the pass to Kranick, 9-yard gain, Calvely on the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 20. Single wing formation. 10-play 60-yard drive. 3:23 off the clock. Radman hands to Radman. Radman on the carry, gain of 9, Coleman on the stop. Second and 1. Single wing formation. Laland calls the signals. Radman tucks it under. Laland lost 4 on the play, Willard on the tackle. Timeout, North Carolina. North Carolina by 7. 3rd and 5. Single wing formation. Radman gives to Watson. Watson gains 1 on the sweep, Coll on the tackle.
False start. Offense, 5-yard penalty.
Fourth and 9 from the 19. Single wing formation. Laland sets up in the pocket. Short hitch to Palmer. Incomplete. Laland to Palmer, incomplete, Faye with the coverage. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Coleman gives to Galarneau. Galarneau on the carry, gain of 2, Moronic with the tackle. Second and 8 at the 21. Single wing formation. Lebretower at the line. The handoff to Faye. Faye with a gain of 2 on the play, Mallory with the tackle. Third and 6. Single wing formation. Lebretower fades back to pass. Lebretower checks down to Faye, he makes the grab. Labrador completes the pass to Faye, gain of 6, Smith with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Labrador on the carry, gain of 3, Moronic on the tackle. Single wing formation. Hand off to Galerno. Galerno on the carry, loss of 4, Kimball on the stop. Third and 11. Single wing formation. Give to Labrador. Labrador passes to Willard, complete. Labrador completes the pass to Willard, gain of 5, Watson with the tackle. Groff will punt. .34-yard punt by Groff, 8-yard return by Lalan. Tar Heels ahead by 7. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Radman with the give to Watson. Watson with a gain of 1 on the play, Groff on the stop. Single wing formation. Radman takes the handoff. Radman with the carry, gain of 1, Cool on the tackle. Third and 8 at the 43. Single wing formation. Lalan drops back to pass. Lalan will run. Lalan on the carry, 5-yard gain, Cool on the tackle. Winborn to punt. Faye standing inside his own 10. .39-yard punt by Winborn, 8-yard return by Faye. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Bootleg. Labrador with a 5-yard run, Klein with the tackle. Second and 5 from the 26. Single wing formation. Hand off to Labrador. He throws to Galerno. Incomplete. Labrador with the pass to Galerno, penalty on the play.
Roughing the passer, defense. Number 82, 15-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Stanford trailing by 7. Single wing formation. Labrador calls out the signals. Hand off to Labrador. He throws to Paulman. Complete. Labrador completes the pass to Paulman, flag on the field.
Holding, offense. Number 25, 10-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. Give to Faye. He throws to Stajakovic. Incomplete. Faye throws incomplete to Stajakovic, Lalan on the coverage. Second and 20. Single wing formation. Labrador calling signals. He fades back to pass. Medium out to Willard. Complete. Labrador completes the pass to Willard, gain of 25, Lalan on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Labrador calls out the signals. Bootleg. Labrador lost 5 on the play, Smith with the tackle. Second and 15. Single wing formation. Labrador calling signals. He fades back to pass. Short slant to Stajakovic, incomplete. Labrador passes to Stajakovic, incomplete. 3rd and 15. Single wing formation. Labrador barks out the signals. The give to Paulman. He throws to Willard, incomplete. Paulman passes to Willard, incomplete. Watson with the coverage. Groff back in punt formation. Lalan waiting inside his own 10. "24-yard punt by Groff, out of bounds. Single wing formation. Radman behind center. Radman in the shotgun. Radman running. Radman gains 1 on the sweep, Willard on the tackle. Second and 9 at the 26. Single wing formation. Lalan calls out the signals. Drops back to pass. Long outside pass. Incomplete. Lalan to Palmer, incomplete, Bay on the coverage. North Carolina up 7. 3rd and 9 from the 26. 3:15 in the second. Single wing formation. Severin split wide. Lalan drops back to pass. Medium crossing pass. Incomplete. Lalan throws incomplete to Severin. Winborn to punt. A 42-yard punt by Winborn, 10-yard return by Labrador. First and 10 at the 42. Single wing formation. Labrador from the shotgun. Paulman pitches left to Fay. Fay the ball carrier, no gain, Severin on the tackle. Single wing formation. Stanford in a hurry up. Paulman gives to Galarno. Galarno on the carry, no gain, Kimball on the tackle. Stanford trailing by 7. 3rd and 10 at the 42. 2:24 in the second. Single wing formation. Labrador fades back to pass. Slant to Stojakovic, incomplete. Labrador throws incomplete to Stojakovic, Lalan on the coverage. Groff back in punt formation. A 32-yard punt by Groff, out of bounds. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Radman hands to Watson. Watson on the carry, gain of 1, Willard on the tackle. Second and 9 at the 27. Single wing formation. Lalan sets to throw. Short sideline pass. Incomplete. Lalan throws incomplete to Kranick, Calvely with the coverage. Third and 9 at the 27. Single wing formation. Severin split outside. Lalan back to pass. Short out to Severin. He dropped it. Lalan throws incomplete to Severin, Fay on the coverage. Winborn from punt formation. A 45-yard punt by Winborn, return of 2 by Fay. Stanford trailing by 7. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Hallman running. With daylight. Labrador with a gain of 19 on the play, Woodson with the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 49. 1:32 to go in the second. Single wing formation. Give to Paulman. He throws to Brenner. Incomplete. Paulman throws incomplete to Brenner. Woodson on the coverage. Second and 10 from the 49. Single wing formation. Labrador calling signals. He fades back to pass. Long out pass. Incomplete. Labrador to Stojakovic. Incomplete. Lalan with the coverage.
Pass interference, defense. Number 93, 15-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Single wing formation. Paulman gives to Paulman. Paulman on the carry, gain of 2, Palmer on the tackle. Single wing formation. Stanford in a hurry up. Hand off to Galerno. He throws to Paulman. Incomplete. Galerno passes to Paulman. Incomplete. Stanford down by 7. 3rd and 8 at the 34. Single wing formation. Hand off to Labrador. He throws to Fay. He dropped it. Labrador passes to Fay. Incomplete. Smith on the coverage. Groff from punt formation. "17-yard punt by Groff, no return. North Carolina by 7. First and 10 from the 17. 0:39 in the second. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Lalan calls the signals. Watson with the handoff. 2-yard run by Watson. Poole with the tackle. Single wing formation. Radman hands to Watson. 1-yard run by Watson. Stojakovic on the tackle. 3rd and 7 from the 20. Single wing formation. Radman gives to Kranek. Kranek on the carry, no gain. Zager on the tackle. Winborn to punt. "39-yard punt by Winborn, return of 7 by Labrador. Moronic boots it. The kick from Moronic is returned 25 yards by Fay. Cernugal on the tackle.
Holding, receiving team.
Single wing formation. Shotgun. Paulman tucks it under. Labrador with a 4-yard run. Mallory on the tackle. Stanford down 7. Single wing formation. Transfers control to Fay. Fay on the sweep, no gain. Klein with the tackle. Stanford down 7. 3rd and 6 at the 17. Single wing formation. Labrador at the line. Bootleg. Big hole. Labrador with a gain of 15 on the play. Lalan on the tackle. First down. Single wing formation. Labrador calls out the signals. Galerno with the handoff. Galerno with a gain of 5 on the play. Kimball on the tackle. Single wing formation. Labrador calling signals. North Carolina jumped. Possible free play for Labrador. Bootleg. With a lane. Librettoer on the bootleg. Penalty on the play.
Encroachment defense. Number 87, 5-yard penalty.
First and 10 from the 50. Single wing formation. Hallman pitches right to Fay. Fay on the pitch, no gain, Mallory on the tackle. Second and 10 from the 50. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Librettoer the ball carrier, flag on the field.
Holding offense. Number 23, 10-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. Librettoer calls the signals. Hallman fades back to pass. False. 4-yard gain by Paulman, Kimball on the tackle. Third and 16 at the 44. Single wing formation. The give to Paulman. He dumps it to Brenner. Incomplete. Paulman passes to Brenner. Incomplete. Woodson on the coverage. Groff from punt formation. "31-yard punt by Groff, return of 11 by Sternwies. Flag on the play.
Encroachment defense. Number 24, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Single wing formation. Laland from the shotgun. Radman hands to Radman. Radman on the carry, loss of 1, West on the tackle. Second and 6 from the 40. Single wing formation. Some movement up front. Possible free play for Laland. Hand off to Watson. Watson on the carry. Flag on the play.
Encroachment defense. Number 23, 5-yard penalty.
Second and 1 from the 45. Single wing formation. Severin split wide. Laland barks out the signals. Radman gives to Kranick. Kranick on the carry, gain of 3, Groff on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Laland at the line. Radman pitches left to Radman. Radman lost 4 on the play, Groff on the tackle. Second and 14 from the 44. Single wing formation. Laland sets up in the pocket. Laland is off and running. Laland on the carry, gain of 1, Willard on the tackle. Tar Heels by 7. Third and 13 at the 45. Single wing formation. Laland calls out the signals. Fades back to pass. Laland dumps it to Kranick. Incomplete. Laland to Kranick, incomplete, Calvely with the coverage. Winborn to punt. Fay waiting inside his own 10. "45-yard punt by Winborn, return of 7 by Fay. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Paulman gives to Galarneau. Galarneau the ball carrier, gain of 4, Kimball on the tackle. Single wing formation. Paulman hands to Fay. Fay on the carry, no gain, Moronic on the tackle. Third and 6 from the 21. Single wing formation. Paulman on the draw. 2-yard run by Paulman, Woodson on the tackle. Groff will kick it away. "41-yard punt by Groff, 10-yard return by Sternwies. Single wing formation. Back in the shotgun. Radman pitches right to Kranick. Kranick on the pitch, no gain, Poole with the tackle. Second and 10 from the 46. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Lalan on the carry, no gain, Stojakovic on the stop. North Carolina by 7. Third and 10. Single wing formation. Severin split wide. Lalan sets up in the pocket. Short sideline pass to Severin, complete. Lalan to Severin, gain of 10, Fay on the tackle, first down. North Carolina breaks the huddle. First and 10 from the 44. Single wing formation. Severin out wide. Hand off to Woodson. Woodson the ball carrier, no gain, Willard on the tackle. Single wing formation. Radman gives to Kranick. Kranick with a 3-yard run, Donahue on the tackle. Third and 7 at the 41. Single wing formation. Severin split outside. Lalan drops back to pass. Lalan passes to Radman. Incomplete. Lalan passes to Radman, incomplete.
False start. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Winborn from punt formation. Fay standing inside his own 10. "42-yard punt by Winborn, out of bounds. Stanford down 7. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Paulman tucks it under. Lebredower lost 3 on the play, Klein on the tackle. Single wing formation. Paulman takes the handoff. Paulman on the carry, no gain, Severin on the tackle. Third and 13 from the 1. Single wing formation. Give to Lebredower. He throws to Stojakovic, incomplete. Lebredower passes to Stojakovic, incomplete, Lalan with the coverage. Groff will punt. From the back of the end zone. "43-yard punt by Groff, return of 5 by Lalan. Single wing formation. Lalan in the shotgun. Bootleg. Lalan lost 4 on the play, Willard with the tackle. Second and 14 from the 43. Single wing formation. Lalan drops back to pass. Long fly. Incomplete. Lalan throws incomplete to Palmer. Third and 14 from the 43. Single wing formation. Lalan drops back to pass. Long slant to Palmer. Incomplete. Lalan with the pass to Palmer, incomplete, Faye on the coverage. Winborn to punt. Labrador waiting inside his own 10. "29-yard punt by Winborn, out of bounds. Single wing formation. Labrador in the shotgun. Paulman hands to Gallarno. Gallarno the ball carrier, gain of 3, Kimball on the stop. Single wing formation. Labrador at the line. Hand off to Faye. Running room. Faye with the carry, gain of 12, Woodson on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Labrador barks out the signals. Paulman on the run. Labrador on the carry, loss of 2, Smith on the stop. Second and 12 at the 27. Single wing formation. Labrador fades back to pass. Medium slant to Willard. Incomplete. Labrador to Willard, incomplete, Watson on the coverage. Third and 12 from the 27. Single wing formation. Labrador fades back to pass. Medium cross. Caught by Stojakovic at the 50. Labrador completes the pass to Stajak, penalty on the play.
Holding, offense. Number 25, 10-yard penalty.
Third and 22. Single wing formation. Labrador sets up in the pocket. False. Has room to run. Labrador with a gain of 11 on the play, Woodson on the tackle. Groff back in punt formation. "38-yard punt by Groff, return of 14 by Sternwies."
Holding, receiving team. 15-yard penalty.
First and 10 from the 24. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Hand off to Lalan. He throws to Watson. Incomplete. Lalan passes to Watson, incomplete, Labrador with the coverage. Single wing formation. Lalan at the line. Lalan fades back to pass. Lalan tucks it under. 11-yard run by Lalan, Donahue on the tackle, first down. First and 10 at the 35. Single wing formation. Radman on the run. Lots of daylight. Lalan with a 23-yard run, Paulman on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Radman gives to Kranick. Kranick on the carry, no gain, Coll on the tackle. Second and 10 from the 42. Single wing formation. The hand off to Radman. 1-yard run by Radman, Zager on the tackle. End of the third quarter, North Carolina 7, Stanford 0. Third and 9. Single wing formation. Lalan fades back to pass. Short into Palmer. Incomplete. Lalan throws incomplete to Palmer, Paulman on the coverage. Winborn to punt. Faye waiting inside his own 10. "36-yard punt by Winborn, no return. Single wing formation. Librettoer in the shotgun. The give to Coleman. Coleman with a 4-yard run, Mallory on the tackle. Single wing formation. Give to Coleman. Coleman with a gain of 5 on the play, Palmer on the tackle. Third and 1. Single wing formation. Galarno takes the handoff. Galarno on the carry, gain of 1, Kimball on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Librettoer at the line. Transfers control to Fay. He throws to Stojakovic, incomplete. Fay throws incomplete to Stojakovic, Lalan on the coverage. Second and 10. Single wing formation. Fay with the handoff. Fay lost 1 on the play, Woodson on the stop. Third and 11 from the 14. Single wing formation. Librettoer sets up in the pocket. Librettoer will run. Librettoer the ball carrier, gain of 3, Lalan with the tackle. Groff deep in punt formation. "38-yard punt by Groff, return of 6 by Lalan. North Carolina leads by 7. First and 10 from the 49. Single wing formation. From the shotgun. Radman gives to Kranick. Kranick on the carry, no gain, Groff on the tackle. Second and 10 from the 49. Single wing formation. The give to Lalan. He checks down to Klein. Incomplete. Lalan passes to Klein, incomplete, Paulman on the coverage. Third and 10. Single wing formation. Severin split outside. Lalan at the line. Fades back to pass. He passes to Palmer. Incomplete. Lalan to Palmer, incomplete, Paulman on the coverage. Winborn from punt formation. Librettoer waiting inside his own 10. "27-yard punt by Winborn, out of bounds. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Pitch left to Paulman. Paulman on the pitch, 10-yard gain, Severin with the tackle, first down. Stanford breaks the huddle. Single wing formation. Hand off to Paulman. Paulman the ball carrier, no gain, Kimball on the stop. Second and 10 from the 32. Single wing formation. Librettoer calling the signals. Sets to throw. It's dumped to Fay. Smith pitches to the 41. Librettoer is intercepted by Watson, return of 18. Tar Heels leads by 7. First and 10 from the 23. Single wing formation. Severin lines up outside. Lalan from the shotgun. Cernugal with the handoff. Block. Cernugal with the carry, touchdown North Carolina. Moronic will try the point after. The kick by Moronic is no good, North Carolina 13, Stanford 0. Here's the kick from Moronic. The kick from Moronic is returned 28 yards by Galerno, Cernugal on the tackle. Stanford trailing by 13. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Give to Lebredower. He throws to Galerno. Caught by Galerno at the 43. Lebredower passes to Galerno, gain of 11, Woodson on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Stanford hustling to the line. Lebredower calls the signals. Bootleg. Has an opening. Lebredower on the bootleg, gain of 16, Lalan on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Stanford hustling to the line. Lebredower at the line. Bootleg. Lebredower on the carry, gain of 8, Lalan on the tackle. Single wing formation. Stanford hustling to the line. The snap is fumbled. Fumble. Lebredower lost 5 on the play, fumble recovered by Severin, North Carolina ball. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Radman pitches right to Kranick. Kranick lost 7 on the play, Willard on the tackle. Second and 17 from the 21. Single wing formation. Lalan working very slowly. He fades back to pass. Medium cross. Caught by Klein for a first down. Lalan to Klein, gain of 20, Paulman on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Lalan working very slowly. Cernugal with the handoff. Cernugal with the carry, gain of 1, Calvally on the stop. Second and 9 from the 42. Single wing formation. North Carolina in no hurry. Radman gives to Radman. 1 yard run by Radman, Stojakovic on the tackle. Third and 8 from the 43. Single wing formation. Slow down. Radman on the draw. Radman on the draw, gain of 1, Groff on the tackle. Winborn from punt formation. "44-yard punt by Winborn, return of 9 by Lebredower. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Lebredower calling the signals. Paulman tucks it under. 6-yard gain by Lebredower, Lalan on the tackle. Single wing formation. They're in a hurry up. Lebredower at the line. The give to Galerno. Galerno the ball carrier, loss of 1, Mallory on the tackle. Third and 5 from the 26. Single wing formation. Hurry up offense. Lebredower calls out the signals. He fades back to pass. Short into Groff. He dropped it. Lebredower to Groff, incomplete, Lalan on the coverage. Groff back to punt. "38-yard punt by Groff, return of 15 by Sternwies. First and 10. Single wing formation. Lalan from the shotgun. Woodson with the handoff. Watson the ball carrier, gain of 1, Zagger with the tackle. Second and 9 at the 48. Single wing formation. Lalan slow to the line. Kranek with the handoff. Kranek on the carry, gain of 1, Willard on the tackle. Third and 8 from the 47. Single wing formation. Slow down. Bootleg. Lalan on the bootleg, no gain, Stojakovic on the tackle. Winborn to punt. Fay standing inside his own 10. "29-yard punt by Winborn, out of bounds. Stanford trailing by 13. Single wing formation. Lebredower in the shotgun. Fades back to pass. Medium fly to Brenner. Incomplete. Lebredower throws incomplete to Brenner, Woodson on the coverage. Second and 10. Single wing formation. Lebredower fades back to pass. False. Lebredower on the carry, gain of 1, Moronic on the tackle. Third and 9 at the 19. Single wing formation. Hurry up. Give to Fay. He throws to Stojakovic. Fay is intercepted by Mallory, return of 7. North Carolina by 13. Single wing formation. Lalan in the shotgun. He fades back to pass. Long hitch. Complete. Lalan completes the pass to Palmer, touchdown North Carolina. Moronic will try the point after. The kick by Moronic is good, North Carolina 20, Stanford 0. Here's the kick from Moronic. Squib kick. The kick from Moronic is returned 22 yards by Lebredower, Cernugal with the tackle. Stanford trailing by 20. Single wing formation. Lebredower in the shotgun. Lebredower at the line. Paulman is back to pass. Paulman tucks it under. 5-yard run by Paulman, Mallory on the tackle. Stanford down 20. Second and 5. Single wing formation. Lebredower calling signals. Lebredower fades back to pass. Lebredower will run. With room to run. Lebredower on the carry, gain of 14, Watson with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Radman in run support. Lebredower fades back to pass. Medium slant to Stojakovic, complete. Lebredower to Stojakovic, gain of 18, Lalan on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. Lebredower drops back to pass. False. Lebredower on the carry, gain of 3, Mallory on the stop. Single wing formation. Hurry up offense. Lebredower fades back to pass. Lebredower throws to Fay. He dropped it. Lebredower to Fay, incomplete, Smith on the coverage. Stanford trailing by 20. 3rd and 7. 0:53 left in the game. Single wing formation. Librettoer drops back to pass. Medium sideline pass. Incomplete. Librettoer passes to Willard, incomplete, Sternwies on the coverage. Stanford trailing by 20. 4th and 7 from the 12. 0:46 left in the game. Single wing formation. Librettoer fades back to pass. Mallory takes him down. Librettoer is sacked by Mallory, loss of 10. Radman takes a knee. Radman will go to a knee. North Carolina 20, Stanford 0. Welcome to Cotton Bowl. Arkansas vs. Pitt. For a first round playoff game. Kish to kick off. The kick from Kish is returned 26 yards by Eakin, Goodell on the tackle. First and 10. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Coll with the handoff. 1 yard run by Coll, Goodridge on the tackle. Second and 9 at the 39. Single wing formation. Eakin sets up in the pocket. Eakin will have to run. With room to run. Eakin on the carry, gain of 15, Danny's on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Atwood running. Eakin on the sweep, loss of 4, Daddio on the tackle. Single wing formation. Eakin drops back to pass. Eakin is off and running. 6 yard run by Eakin, Daddio on the tackle. Third and 8. Single wing formation. Eakin drops back to pass. Medium crossing pattern. Incomplete. Eakin throws incomplete to Britt, Stebbins with the coverage. Eakin back in punt formation. Cassiano waiting inside his own 10. A 36-yard punt by Eakin, out of bounds. First and 10 at the 8. Single wing formation. Chicernio from the shotgun. Chicernio at the line. Give to Cassiano. Cassiano lost 2 on the play, Hickey on the tackle. Single wing formation. Goldberg takes the handoff. Goldberg with a gain of 5 on the play, Singer with the tackle. Third and 7 at the 11. Single wing formation. The give to Goldberg. He throws to Cassiano, batted up by Yates at the 25. Goldberg is intercepted by Marino, return of 10. Single wing formation. From the shotgun. Atwood with the give to Mosley. With daylight. Mosley on the carry, touchdown Arkansas. Symington will try the point after. Symington makes the extra point, Arkansas 7, PITT 0. Miller to kick off. The kick from Miller is returned 28 yards by Stebbins, McDaniel on the tackle. Single wing formation. Chicernio in the shotgun. Cassiano gives to Stebbins. Stebbins on the carry, loss of 1, Stallings with the tackle. Single wing formation. Give to Goldberg. Goldberg the ball carrier, no gain, Yates on the tackle. Third and 11 from the 43. Single wing formation. Chicernio fades back to pass. Medium cross to Daddio. Incomplete. Chicernio throws incomplete to Daddio, Eakin on the coverage. Kish back in punt formation. "40-yard punt by Kish, 12-yard return by Atwood. First and 10 from the 29. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Eakin calls out the signals. The give to Eakin. He throws to Atwood, complete. Eakin completes the pass to Atwood, gain of 13, Danny's on the tackle, first down. First and 10 at the 42. Single wing formation. Eakin barks out the signals. Atwood running. Eakin has room to run. Eakin with a gain of 14 on the play, Stebbins on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Atwood with the handoff. Atwood on the carry, gain of 7, Danny's on the tackle. Single wing formation. The give to Eakin. He throws to Atwood. Incomplete. Eakin throws incomplete to Atwood, Danny's on the coverage.
Pass interference, defense. Number 29, 10-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Single wing formation. Coll takes the handoff. Coll the ball carrier, 2-yard gain, Goodridge on the tackle. Second and 8. Single wing formation. Eakin fades back to pass. Eakin airs it out to Coll. Eakin throws incomplete to Coll, Petro on the coverage. Third and 8. Single wing formation. Atwood takes the handoff. 5-yard gain by Atwood, Danny's on the tackle. Fourth and 3. Single wing formation. Coll takes the handoff. Fumble. Coll the ball carrier, 3-yard gain, fumble recovered by Atwood, Arkansas maintains possession. 1st and 10. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Cassiano running. Goldberg with a gain of 9 on the play, Woodell on the tackle. Second and 1 from the 26. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Chicernio running room. Chicernio on the carry, gain of 12, Atwood on the tackle, 1st down. 1st and 10 from the 38. Single wing formation. Cassiano on the run. Chicernio has daylight. 24-yard run by Chicernio, Yates on the tackle, 1st down. Single wing formation. And off to Cassiano. Cassiano on the carry, no gain, Stallings on the tackle. Second and 10. Single wing formation. Stebbins with the handoff. Stebbins on the carry, 4-yard gain, Singer on the tackle. 3rd and 6. Single wing formation. Chicernio fades back to pass. Short pass to Hoffman, incomplete. Chicernio to Hoffman, incomplete, Atwood on the coverage. Kish back in punt formation. A 34-yard punt by Kish, touchback. First and 10 from the 20. Single wing formation. Eakin from the shotgun. Mosley with the handoff. Mosley on the carry, gain of 1, Hoffman with the tackle. Single wing formation. Hand off to Eakin. He throws to Coll. Incomplete. Eakin throws incomplete to Coll, Petro on the coverage. Third and 9 at the 21. Single wing formation. Eakin fades back to pass. Medium cross to Frielberger. He dropped it. Eakin passes to Frielberger, incomplete, Stebbins on the coverage. Eakin back in punt formation. A 51-yard punt by Eakin, 9-yard return by Cassiano.
Illegal block. Receiving team, 15-yard penalty.
Flag on the play.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 33, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
First and 5. Single wing formation. Chicernio in the shotgun. He's running right. Stebbins with a gain of 1 on the play, Britt on the stop. Second and 4 from the 23. Single wing formation. The hand off to Stebbins. Stebbins on the sweep, no gain, Frielberger on the stop. Third and 4 from the 23. Single wing formation. Chicernio at the line. Cassiano on the draw. Cassiano lost 3 on the play, Stallings on the tackle. Kish deep in punt formation. A 28-yard punt by Kish, out of bounds. Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 61, 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
First and 15 from the 47. Single wing formation. From the shotgun. Mosley with the handoff. Mosley lost one on the play. Hoffman with the tackle. Second and 16 from the 46. Single wing formation. Transfers control to Eakin. He throws to Hickey. He makes the grab. Eakin completes the pass to Hickey, gain of 12, Bonelli with the tackle. Third and 4 at the 42. Single wing formation. Mosley on the draw. 4-yard run by Mosley, Stebbins on the stop, first down. First and 10 at the 38. Single wing formation. Eakin calling signals. Bootleg. Has room to run. 21-yard run by Eakin, flag on the play.
Holding. Offense. Number 22, 10-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. Eakin fades back to pass. Short curl to Hickey, complete. Eakin completes the pass to Hickey, gain of 10, Bonelli with the tackle. Single wing formation. Atwood hands to Atwood. Atwood on the carry, gain of 3, Petro on the tackle. Third and 7 from the 35. Single wing formation. Eakin fades back to pass. Short outside pass to Frielberger, complete. Eakin completes the pass to Frielberger, gain of 13, Stebbins with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Eakin on the carry, no gain, Murkowski on the tackle. Second and 10 from the 22. Single wing formation. Eakin at the line. Hand off to Eakin. He throws to Hickey. Complete. Eakin completes the pass to Hickey, 12-yard gain, Bonelli on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Atwood running. Eakin on the sweep, gain of 8, Danny's on the tackle. End of the first quarter, Arkansas 7, PITT 0. Second and goal. Single wing formation. Goal line defense. Atwood with the handoff. Atwood the ball carrier, touchdown Arkansas. Symington will try the point after. Symington converts the extra point, Arkansas 14, PITT 0. Miller to kick off. The kick from Miller is returned 19 yards by Cassiano, Hamburg on the tackle. Single wing formation. Chicernio from the shotgun. Chicernio barks out the signals. Cassiano takes the handoff. Cassiano with the carry, 1-yard gain, Thorpe on the tackle. Second and 9 at the 30. Single wing formation. Chicernio calling signals. Cassiano takes the handoff. Cassiano on the carry, no gain, Singer on the tackle. Third and 9. Single wing formation. Goldberg at the line. Some movement up front. Possible free play for Goldberg. Drops back to pass. He throws deep downfield to Sakila. Incomplete. Goldberg to Sakila, incomplete, flag on the field.
Encroachment, defense. Number 22, 5-yard penalty.
Third and 4 from the 35. Single wing formation. Cassiano with the handoff. 5-yard gain by Cassiano, Britt on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Cassiano behind center. Cassiano running. Cassiano lost 2 on the play, Britt with the tackle. Second and 12. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Goldberg on the carry, gain of 5, Hickey on the stop. Third and 7. Single wing formation. Cassiano on the draw. Cassiano on the draw, no gain, Hickey on the tackle. Kish from punt formation. "46-yard punt by Kish, return of 7 by Atwood. Single wing formation. Eakin in the shotgun. The give to Eakin. He throws to Atwood. Incomplete. Eakin throws incomplete to Atwood, Danny's on the coverage. Single wing formation. Eakin drops back to pass. Eakin is off and running. Eakin with a 2-yard run, Dadio on the tackle. Arkansas by 14. Third and 8 from the 20. Single wing formation. Eakin drops back to pass. Short hitch to Britt. Complete. Eakin to Britt, 12-yard gain, Stevens on the tackle, first down. Flag on the field.
False start. Offense. Number 22, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Single wing formation. Atwood pitches left to Atwood. Atwood with daylight. Atwood with a 45-yard run, Stevens on the tackle, first down. Arkansas by 14. Single wing formation. Hand off to Coll. Coll with a 1-yard run, Murkowski on the tackle. Second and 9. Single wing formation. Eakin calls out the signals. Atwood pitches left to Atwood. Room for Atwood. Atwood the ball carrier, touchdown Arkansas. Symington will try the point after. The kick by Symington is no good, Arkansas 20, PITT 0. Here's the kick from Miller. The kick from Miller is returned 28 yards by Goldberg, Hamburg on the tackle. Single wing formation. Chicernio in the shotgun. Cassiano on the run. Chicernio on the carry, no gain, Singer on the tackle. PITT breaks the huddle. 2nd and 10. Single wing formation. Cassiano hands to Stebbins. 1 yard gain by Stebbins, Thorpe on the tackle. Third and 9 from the 48. Single wing formation. Chicernio drops back to pass. Dropped by Thorpe. Chicernio is sacked by Thorpe, loss of 7. Kish deep in punt formation. "37-yard punt by Kish, 8-yard return by Atwood. Single wing formation. Eakin in the shotgun. Eakin at the line. Atwood with the handoff to Coll. Coll with a gain of 1 on the play, Petro on the stop. Second and 9 at the 31. Single wing formation. Eakin drops back to pass. Eakin is running with it. Eakin on the carry, gain of 10, Dadio with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Atwood running. Eakin on the carry, gain of 2, Hoffman on the tackle. Timeout, Arkansas. Second and 8. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Eakin with a gain of 8 on the play, Konetsky on the stop, first down. Arkansas by 20. Single wing formation. Atwood tucks it under. Eakin gains 6 on the sweep, Hoffman on the tackle. Single wing formation. Eakin calls out the signals. Give to Eakin. He throws to Mosley. Incomplete. Eakin to Mosley, incomplete, Cassiano on the coverage. Third and 4. Single wing formation. The handoff to Coll. Coll on the carry, gain of 5, Raskowski with the tackle, first down. Timeout, PITT. Single wing formation. The give to Eakin. He throws to Hickey. Complete. Eakin completes the pass to Hickey, touchdown Arkansas. Symington will try the point after. Symington makes the extra point, Arkansas 27, PITT 0. Here's the kick from Miller. The kick from Miller is returned 29 yards by Stebbins, McDaniel on the stop. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. The give to Stebbins. 4-yard run by Stebbins, Stallings on the tackle. Single wing formation. Goldberg with the handoff. Goldberg on the carry, no gain, Singer on the stop. Third and 6 from the 48. Single wing formation. Cassiano on the draw. Cassiano on the carry, gain of 3, Frielberger on the tackle. Kish will kick it away. Atwood waiting inside his own 10. 42-yard punt by Kish, out of bounds. Single wing formation. Eakin from the shotgun. Atwood gives to Atwood. Atwood on the carry, no gain, Konetsky on the tackle. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. Bootleg. Eakin on the bootleg, gain of 5, Dadio on the tackle. Third and 5 at the 8. Single wing formation. Arkansas working slowly. Atwood tucks it under. 5-yard gain by Eakin, Dadio on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. Atwood tucks it under. Eakin on the carry, gain of 1, Danny's on the tackle. Single wing formation. Atwood gives to Coll. Coll on the carry, loss of 1, Dadio on the tackle. Third and 10 from the 13. Single wing formation. Eakin drops back to pass. Short hitch. Incomplete. Eakin to Britt, incomplete. Eakin from punt formation. .38-yard punt by Eakin, return of 2 by Cassiano.
Running into the kicker, defense. 5-yard penalty.
Eakin from punt formation. Eakin won't get the kick off. Eakin on the carry, loss of 9, Konetsky on the tackle. Single wing formation. Chikernio from the shotgun. Chikernio at the line. Give to Stebbins. Stebbins on the carry, no gain, Frielberger on the tackle. Single wing formation. PITT hustling to the line. Chikernio at the line. Cassiano hands to Stebbins. Stebbins on the carry, loss of 1, Woodell with the tackle. Third and goal. Single wing formation. PITT hustling to the line. Hand off to Goldberg. He throws to Hoffman. Atwood intercepted it in the end zone. Goldberg is intercepted by Atwood, return of 0. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Coll with the transfer. Coll on the carry, 1-yard gain, Dadio on the tackle. Arkansas up 27. Second and 9 at the 21. 0:06 in the second. Single wing formation. Eakin slow to the line. The give to Eakin. He throws to Hickey. Incomplete. Eakin throws incomplete to Hickey, Bonelli on the coverage, end of the first half, Arkansas 27, here's the kick from Miller. The kick from Miller is returned 32 yards by Cassiano, Miller on the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Cassiano running. Chikernio gains 2 on the sweep, Britt on the tackle. Single wing formation. The hand off to Stebbins. 7-yard run by Stebbins, Stallings on the stop. 3rd and 1 from the 48. Single wing formation. Stebbins takes the handoff. Stebbins the ball carrier, no gain, Eakin on the tackle. Fourth and 1 from the 48. Single wing formation. Goldberg with the handoff. Goldberg on the carry, gain of 2, Stallings with the tackle, first down. Panthers down by 27. Single wing formation. Cassiano on the run. Goldberg with daylight. Goldberg on the sweep, gain of 11, Goodell on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Chicernio on the carry, no gain, Yates with the tackle. Single wing formation. Chicernio calling the signals. Goldberg with the handoff. Goldberg the ball carrier, gain of 7, Eakin on the tackle. Third and 3 from the 28. Single wing formation. Chicernio fades back to pass. Short hitch to Stebbins, complete. Chicernio passes to Stebbins, touchdown PITT. Daddio will try the point after. The kick by Daddio is good, Arkansas 27, PITT 7. Kish to kick off. The kick from Kish is returned 22 yards by Eakin, Goodell with the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Atwood running. Eakin with a 2-yard run, Murkowski on the stop. Single wing formation. Atwood hands to Coll. Coll the ball carrier, gain of 1, Goodridge on the tackle. 3rd and 7. Single wing formation. Draw to Mosley. Mosley lost 1 on the play, Petro on the tackle. Eakin deep in punt formation. A 45-yard punt by Eakin, return of 9 by Cassiano. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Cassiano hands to Goldberg. Goldberg with the carry, gain of 3, Singer with the tackle. Single wing formation. Cassiano with the handoff. Cassiano lost 1 on the play, Thorpe on the tackle. Third and 8 from the 31. Single wing formation. Cassiano hands to Stebbins. Stebbins on the carry, no gain, Hickey on the tackle.
False start. Offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat, 4th down.
Kish from punt formation. A 45-yard punt by Kish, 9-yard return by Atwood. First and 10. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Hand off to Eakin. He throws to Atwood. Incomplete. Eakin throws incomplete to Atwood, Danny's on the coverage. Second and 10. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Eakin on the bootleg, no gain, Daddio on the tackle. 3rd and 10. Single wing formation. Transfers control to Eakin. He throws underneath to Hickey, complete. Eakin to Hickey, gain of 5, Bonelli on the tackle. Eakin deep in punt formation. "42-yard punt by Eakin, 11-yard return by Cassiano. Single wing formation. Chicernio from the shotgun. Chicernio at the line. Pitch right to Cassiano. Cassiano lost 4 on the play, Waddell with the tackle. Second and 14 from the 22. Single wing formation. Chicernio calling the signals. Chicernio fades back to pass. Chicernio will have to run. Chicernio with a 5-yard run, Britt on the tackle. Panthers down by 20. 3rd and 9 from the 27. 5:51 in the 3rd. Single wing formation. Cassiano fades back to pass. Cassiano is running. Cassiano with a gain of 7 on the play, Frielberger on the tackle. Kish back in punt formation. "40-yard punt by Kish, 9-yard return by Eakin. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Atwood running. Eakin on the sweep, gain of 6, Petro with the tackle. Arkansas ahead by 20. 2nd and 4 at the 41. 4:36 in the 3rd. Single wing formation. Slow down. Hand off to Eakin. He throws to Atwood. Incomplete. Eakin passes to Atwood, incomplete, Danny's on the coverage. Third and 4 from the 41. Single wing formation. Eakin to throw. Medium hitch to Frielberger. Incomplete. Eakin to Frielberger, incomplete, Stebbins on the coverage. Eakin back in punt formation. "42-yard punt by Eakin, return of 14 by Cassiano. First and 10 from the 31. Single wing formation. Goldberg in the shotgun. Cassiano gives to Stebbins. 3-yard gain by Stebbins, Frielberger with the tackle. Second and 7 at the 34. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Chicernio on the bootleg, no gain, Hickey on the tackle. Third and 7 from the 34. Single wing formation. Chicernio calling signals. He fades back to pass. Medium cross to Daddio. Complete. Chicernio passes to Daddio, 35-yard gain, Eakin on the tackle, first down. PITT trailing by 20. Single wing formation. The handoff to Cassiano. Running room. Cassiano on the carry, flag on the play.
Holding, offense. Number 29, 10-yard penalty.
First and 20 from the 41. Single wing formation. Give to Chicernio. He throws to Goldberg. He dropped it. Chikernio passes to Goldberg, incomplete, Hamburg on the coverage. Single wing formation. Chikernio calling the signals. He fades back to pass. Medium cross. Dadio with the catch inside the 20. Chikernio completes the pass to Dadio, 33-yard gain, Larimore on the tackle, first down. First and goal from the 8. Single wing formation. Goldberg at the line. Cassiano gives to Thurbong. 1-yard gain by Thurbong, Singer on the tackle. Second and goal at the 7. Single wing formation. They're looking for Cassiano. The hand off to Cassiano. 4-yard run by Cassiano, Singer on the tackle. Third and goal at the 3. Single wing formation. 7-play 66-yard drive. 3:18 off the clock. Chikernio back to pass. Short cross to Dadio. Chikernio to Dadio, incomplete, Eakin on the coverage. 20-yard attempt for Dadio. Kish to hold. Clean snap. The snap from Hawkins. Dadio connects from 20 yards, Arkansas 27, PITT 10. Kish to kick off. The kick from Kish is returned 26 yards by Eakin, Goodell on the stop. Single wing formation. Eakin from the shotgun. Some movement up front. Possible free play for Eakin. Atwood gives to Atwood. Atwood with a gain of 2 on the play, Hoffman with the tackle, end of the third quarter, Arkansas 27, PITT 10. Single wing formation. Atwood tucks it under. Eakin on the sweep, loss of 2, Hoffman on the tackle. Third and 10. Single wing formation. Eakin working very slowly. Fades back to pass. Medium into Britt. Caught by Britt at the 41. Eakin to Britt, gain of 21, Stebbins on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Eakin taking his time. Bootleg. Eakin lost 4 on the play, Konetsky on the tackle. Second and 14 at the 44. Single wing formation. Arkansas taking their time. Eakin drops back to pass. Eakin is running with it. Eakin on the carry, gain of 4, Goodridge on the tackle. Third and 10 from the 40. Single wing formation. They're in a slow down. Eakin at the line. Eakin fades back to pass. Eakin is off and running. With a lane. Eakin with a gain of 11 on the play, Petro on the tackle, first down. Flag on the field.
False start. Offense. Number 48, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Arkansas by 17. First and 15 from the 34. 12-18 in the fourth. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Room to run. Eakin with a 24-yard run, Stebbins on the tackle, first down. Arkansas by 17. Single wing formation. Arkansas taking their time. Eakin calling signals. Give to Mosley. Mosley on the carry, Touchdown Arkansas. Symington will try the point after. The kick by Symington is good. Arkansas 34, Pitt 10. Miller boots it. The kick from Miller is returned 15 yards by Goldberg. McDaniel on the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Bootleg. Chickerneau the ball carrier, loss of 5, Thorpe on the tackle. Second and 15 from the 25. Single wing formation. Goldberg fades back to pass. Goldberg throws underneath to Sakila, he dropped it. Goldberg to Sakila, incomplete, Yates on the coverage. Third and 15 from the 25. Single wing formation. Chickerneau drops back to pass. Medium fly to Hoffman. Incomplete. Chickerneau throws incomplete to Hoffman, Atwood on the coverage. Kish deep in punt formation. "34-yard punt by Kish, return of 8 by Eakin. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Bootleg. Eakin on the carry, gain of 1, Daddio on the tackle. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. Hand off to Coll. Coll the ball carrier, no gain, Goodrich on the tackle. Third and 9 from the 50. Single wing formation. Eakin taking his time. Fades back to pass. Eakin passes to Frielberger, complete. Eakin completes the pass to Frielberger, penalty on the play.
Holding, offense. Number 45, 10-yard penalty.
Third and 19 at the 40. Single wing formation. Eakin sets to throw. Medium fly to Frielberger. Complete. Eakin to Frielberger, gain of 21, Stebbins on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Eakin slow to the line. Eakin at the line. Hand off to Mosley. Mosley with a gain of 3 on the play, Goodrich on the stop. Single wing formation. Eakin slow to the line. Eakin calls out the signals. Atwood pitches left to Coll. Coll on the pitch, gain of 4, Daddio on the tackle. Third and 3 from the 32. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. Atwood gives to Hickey. Hickey on the sweep, gain of 4, Petro on the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 28. Single wing formation. Eakin taking his time. Eakin calls out the signals. Mosley with the handoff. Mosley with the carry, no gain, Raskowski on the tackle. Single wing formation. Arkansas in no hurry. Hand off to Eakin. He throws to Atwood. Incomplete. Eakin throws incomplete to Atwood, Danny's with the coverage. Arkansas leads by 24. Third and 10 from the 28. 6:29 left in the game. Single wing formation. Eakin calls out the signals. Hand off to Eakin. Sacked by Hoffman. Eakin is sacked by Hoffman, loss of 9. Eakin will kick it away. "33-yard punt by Eakin, out of bounds. PITT trailing by 24. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Chikernio sets to throw. Chikernio is running with it. Chikernio the ball carrier, 14-yard gain, Eakin on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. Chikernio calling signals. Drops back to pass. Short button hook to Stebbins, complete. Chikernio completes the pass to Stebbins, 27-yard gain, Eakin on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Chikernio fades back to pass. Medium hitch to Dadio. He makes the catch. Chikernio to Dadio, 26-yard gain, Mosley on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Goldberg drops back to pass. Goldberg is running. Goldberg with a gain of 11 on the play, Thorpe on the tackle, first down. Panthers trailing by 24. First and 10. 4:17 left in the game. Single wing formation. Chikernio fades back to pass. Sacked by Hickey. Chikernio is sacked by Hickey, loss of 12. PITT trailing by 24. Second and 22. 3:40 left in the game. Single wing formation. Chikernio fades back to pass. Medium sideline pass to Dadio, complete. Chikernio with the pass to Dadio, touchdown PITT. The conversion failed, Arkansas 34, PITT 16. Here's the kick from Kish. Onside kick recovered by Arkansas. Fred Thompson is feeling good. First and 10 at the 48. Single wing formation. Eakin from the shotgun. Eakin calls the signals. Atwood hands to Coll. Coll on the carry, gain of 1, Murkowski with the tackle. Second and 9 from the 47. Single wing formation. Arkansas working slowly. The give to Eakin. He throws to Mosley. Fumble. Eakin is intercepted by Cassiano, fumble recovered by Rastowski, PITT ball. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Goldberg at the line. Drops back to pass. Long out. Incomplete. Goldberg passes to Sakila, incomplete, Mays on the coverage. Flag on the field.
Encroachment defense. Number 70, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Single wing formation. Chikernio fades back to pass. Chikernio is off and running. Lots of daylight. Chikernio with a gain of 29 on the play, Eakin on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Hurry up offense. Chikernio drops back to pass. Short cross to Dadio, he's got it. Chikernio to Dadio, 9-yard gain, Mosley on the tackle. Chikernio brings them to the line. 2nd and 1 from the 9. Single wing formation. Give to Goldberg. He throws to Cassiano. Incomplete. Goldberg passes to Cassiano, incomplete, Yates on the coverage. Third and 1 from the 9. Single wing formation. Goldberg fades back to pass. He throws to Sakila. Incomplete. Goldberg passes to Sakila, incomplete. Panthers down by 18. 4th and 1. Single wing formation. Hand off to Cassiano. He throws to Thurbaum. Tipped by Yates in the end zone. Cassiano is intercepted by Yates, return of 0. Single wing formation. Eakin from the shotgun. Hand off to Eakin. He throws to Coll. Incomplete. Eakin passes to Coll, incomplete. Arkansas leads by 18. 2nd and 10 from the 20. 1:25 in the 4th. Single wing formation. Atwood running. Room to run. Eakin on the carry, gain of 57, Petro on the tackle, first down. Arkansas ahead by 18. Single wing formation. Slow down. The hand off to Atwood. Atwood with the carry, gain of 5, Raskowski on the tackle. Atwood will take a knee. Arkansas 34, PITT 16.